20 most bizarre images on the internet. This strange and macabre display looks to be fashion models showing off some style that roughly represents the ways that terrorists tend to dress, mixed with swimsuits and a variety of particular objects. This image makes one wonder about the context in which it was taken, because this is a very bizarre image. Everyone has seen all the recent hype being given to the face-swapping world. Applications such as Snapchat support the idea of putting your face on someone else's, or putting it in other strange places, like what has been done to this image of this baby. It seems that the maker of the photo simply moved the face to the stomach and made the base of the neck the top of the head, making for an entertaining image of a baby body face. This image comes from none other than the internet giant Google. Google Maps have had a history of distorting some of the things that you see in images taken from various parts of the world on the application. And this one is so distorted that it is almost hard to view. It appears as if 4 women are all occupying the same space at the same time. This is something that is physically impossible, but hey, who says Google has to obey physics, right? In this picture, we see an obviously photoshopped image of a man pulling down his eyes to his cheeks. Despite the obvious unreality of this picture, you cannot deny that it makes you cringe. Just a little bit. Look at it. His eyes are on his cheeks. It just looks uncomfortable. Now, this image is not a bizarre image. It is more the concept that is bizarre. Now, we should all agree that it's not right to make fun of anyone, especially not for their fears. However, this fear is a little bit funny. Simply imagine someone walking into a bathroom at their friend's house to find a jar of cotton balls sitting on the counter, and this followed by someone screaming and running. It's a kind of funny concept. Regardless, we should hope this person is getting help for their irrational fear, because cotton balls are our friends, not foes. This is a particularly odd image of a baby that is crossed with the features of an elephant. Whoever made this picture had an affinity for the bizarre, and that is certainly what this picture is. Bizarre. It almost looks like it comes straight out of an H.P. Lovecraft story. This image is pretty self-explanatory. It's a picture of a book cover for a book called Little Bobby's Drunk Again by Herbert Biddleman. I do not know what your intended audience for this book was, Herbert, but to me, it looks like your book is meant to appeal to bored stoners who want a quick laugh at a ridiculous story. Don't mess with this little guy's drugs, man. He'll bite you. In this photo, this little chihuahua has made it very clear that you should stay out of his territory and don't touch his stuff, because he will protect it fiercely, as any angry drug-abusing chihuahua would. Pictures like this always leave a weird feeling in the body parts they depict. Just try to imagine what it would be like to have 5 opposable fingers on each finger. Kind of weird concept, right? Well, that is the feeling this bizarre picture attempts to convey. Sometimes people on Photoshop take things way too far. This is a perfect example of that. Who even has the spare time to take a picture of a horse and turn it into a demon who's only suited for the black depths of hell? This horse looks wrong in so many ways that it is truly frightening. It's recommended not to show this image to your kids. It may induce some nightmares. No pun intended. Okay, yes, pun was intended. This particularly strange image is a blobfish, which is a real animal. It looks so bizarre that it seems a perfect fit for this list, and it is one of the few things on the list that is not Photoshopped. Yes, this strange fish actually looks like that, with a large nose-like structure and small beady eyes. It is one of the most peculiar-looking animals in the animal kingdom. Who would let their kid mount an alligator? This seems extremely unsafe, and perhaps someone should take one for the team and call Child Protective Services on this family. That is, of course, assuming that this is just some wild alligator hanging out on the porch. Perhaps it is the family alligator, and the kid was raised with it. In that case, this may be all right, but now the question is raised, why do you own an alligator in the first place? This seems likely a pretty dangerous pet. This is an exceptional use of Photoshop. It combines an old-style black and white family photo with some of the most entertaining aliens in Star Wars, the Tusken Raiders. These sand people make strange sounds that sound like the braying of a donkey. And it is hard not to laugh when imagining these children making that very sound. Whoever created this photo should be applauded. this is a strange sculpture that just showed up one day on a Seattle street corner, and everyone who has seen it has been wholly weirded out by it. The artist is unknown, and it seems to depict a little boy wrapped in a mesh of fishnet with part of his body lying on the ground next to him. Some artists are inspired by bizarre ideas, and this is an example of that. This is a strange statue if there ever was one. This statue depicts a man kicking and punching multiple babies, sending them flying through the air. For what purposes this statue was made is unknown, but if I had to guess why it was made, the artist may have an abnormal attraction to domestic violence. Some bizarre photos are self-explanatory. This one is anything but that. It depicts legs hanging from the lady's dress that does not seem to be hers, as they seem to be too small. Perhaps they are her child's. However, that raises the question, why is her child inside of her dress? Maybe this was considered in good taste at the time this photo was taken, but it seems to be a bit inappropriate for a picture with your child. What you see in this image at first looks like a bunch of long, sunken bodies holding hands. However, they are not people, but instead they are statues found under the Caribbean Sea. There are over 500 of them, and they are one of the most bizarre sights above and below water, as people still come to photograph and study them to this day. Some people have been calling them the Weeping Angels, which is something from the science fiction show Doctor Who. In the show, you can't blink while looking at these statues, or you could be in for a very unpleasant surprise. This image is a strange one. It shows an octopus what appears to be on a dissection tray. However, instead of being dissected, it looks like as if this mollusk is ready to do the dissecting. Someone may have made this image for simple laughs, but it also has the quality of making a statement of the effect of looking through the eyes of things that we eat and dissect. How would you feel if this little guy wanted to cut you up? Some people do weird things with their bodies, like the man in this photo. He has stuck 2 swords through his cheek in an extreme example of strange forms of body modification. There are many types of bizarre body modifications out there, but the swords and knives through the face are some of the most cringe-worthy and intense ones.
And now for number 1. But first, be sure to subscribe for new videos every day.
This first picture is of a man named Graham. He is not a real man, and he certainly has a very unusual appearance. The reasoning behind this strange appearance is a very significant one. Australia's Transport Accident Commission has made this concept human with the idea of showing how a human would have to be built to be resistant to impact damage, such as car crashes. Graham is the ultimate crash-proof person.